no Bootcamp today. I got too much going on behind me, but we hype. Welcome back, everybody. How y'all doing? Hey, let's go. Free Schmurda, we back. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I gave a warning. I'm gonna always give a warning. Always gonna give a warning. Hey. Let's go, everybody. Welcome back. We'll chill a little bit. I'll chill a little bit. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Schmurder can. I wish I would have thought of it. Maybe for Thursday. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Alrighty. So, we got a lot of fun stuff to do tonight. But welcome back. How y'all doing? Hope you're doing good. Hope you had an amazing break. We got a lot of fun stuff to get to this week. Next week's going to be lit. I'm excited for next week too. And then we're getting right into the back end, folks. So hope you had a good break. Hope y'all had some time to catch up, some time for a review. We're going to get a little bit of review in tonight. Want to give everybody kind of just like a warming back up. And then we're going to get into it, folks. We got a lot of back end to get into. So a lot of changes coming next week. A lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. But welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I'm going to put the OG music on. So let's do a little bit of the other music in the background. You know, just a little bit. All right. You know, not too much, just a little bit. Everyone, welcome back. You were missed. Hope you had a great break. Before I even went live, there was a hype train. We're at level 3 already. I appreciate you all. Welcome back. Music is choppy. Let's chill the music then. Not sure when the music is choppy, but we'll chill the music for now then. A lot of folks to thank. First and foremost, thank you to everyone for being here. It's kind of just raining in, so I want to get through all this real quick, and then we're gonna jump right into class tonight. I appreciate you all being here. I think the sub pop up. I'm seeing the sub pop up on my end. It's just in like the little box though, like over here. It should be like right there. I can hear you, but the video is frozen. You know what? We work so hard for these quality settings, and now once we get them, Twitch is like, they're not keeping up. So we do have those quality settings. If you need to, go ahead and use them. My glasses are fogging up. This computer gets hot. It's so much support coming in here. I'm going to get to everybody real quick. I want to make sure everyone gets their lovely shout out here. Thank you so much. I'm just going to scroll back through here and go through these. Nicole's first. Mine with the 6 months of Andy's Bucks. I think we're switching to Andy's Bucks now, not Bezos Bucks anymore. Andy's Bucks. Thank you so much. Mine with the 6 months. Fountain with the 5 months. Kicked that hype train off right away. Sheenan with the 5 months. Sheenan also with the bits. Thank you so much. Wolfgang with the bits. Topher tries with the 4 months. Gourds with the 3 months. Jackie with the 5 months. Straight Jacket with the hydration. Let me go ahead and get that hydration going. You know how I do. I got my big bottle. Cheers to you. Hold on, folks. It's so much coming in today. I want to make sure I get to everybody real quick, and then we're going to jump right into it. The Flow with the 5 months. Welcome back to you as well. Will with the 4 months. Thank you for being here. Eric with the 4 months. 4 months. Woo woo. Dev Henry with the 4 months. Spliff with the 5 months. WebDev with the 4 months. General Knox with the 4 months. Pritcat 5 months. Tony Dime with the 4 months. Orasi with the 100 bits. Glad you all are here. Magic Marcos with the 4 months. If you saw the Leprechaun, say yeah with the 4 months. Leon and Bobby back same week. Coincidence? I think not. Wonderfield, wow, already with the 5 months. Pie with the 5 months. Bugaboo with the 6 months. Scott with the 4 months. Miss Turner with the 5 months. Is Noda with the 3 months. Holy, woly, woly, woly. 3 months subscribe. Good luck. Have fun. We need to see the machine. Thank you, Alyssa, for reposting. Oh, I can't just give you the machine. What do you think this is? I just can't like. This is a rare asset. This is something that I know y'all want, and I'm gonna dangle it for as long as I possibly can because I know how bad you want it. My DMs over break were 50% like normal, 50% the machine, the machine, the machine, the machine, the machine. Everything is free here, but the machine is going to cost you some channel points. So we're still letting her get a little comfortable, right? Still letting her get a little bit comfortable. Bootcamp, Cam is down because there's a lot of activity happening behind me, folks. A lot of activity. A lot of stuff that's coming starting next week. A lot of stuff I got started on. So the cam's down. You can't even use the channel points for it right now, but it's right behind. So the machine will come. The machine will come on her own time, though. Hopefully next week, and we'll do like a big channel points, maybe like a community goal for the first machine. I don't want to launch her into stardom so quick. I missed the puppy class, yeah. Bob is hot and the machine is taking all the attention. Whew. The whiteboard's there. It's coming. Is her name the machine, or did y'all stick to her shelter name? So her name is the machine. We call her Mashi. So Mashi is what she's like. She responds a little bit to the machine because I say it a lot. But Mashi is the name that she's been using. She didn't really respond to her shelter name at all, so we've just been using Mashi. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. We had a few other folks come in here. It's Noda. Thank you for the 3 months. 8 Bearings photo with the 3 months. Thank you so much, everybody. It's nice to be back. I hope y'all are doing well. Wanted to give folks a few seconds to get in here to see all the notifications coming in. I wanna get right into some of the slides tonight. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're gonna do some review tonight. Tonight should be kind of a chill class. Thursday we're gonna go hard though. Thursday is gonna be a hard object-oriented class. We're really gonna push kind of a lot of the things I want you to start digesting a little bit more. Next week we're gonna get into some more kind of harder classes as well. But tonight, we're going to take a little bit easy. We're going to do lots of review. We're going to go over everything because we have a lot of new folks. A lot of new folks that are joining us for the first time. So I want to make sure you're doing good. We got some stuff to talk about first, and then we're going to get started. 24 subs and 300 bits. Whew. Thank you all for being here. What did y'all, like I said, I just want to give folks another minute or two to get here and we're getting into it. What did y'all do over break? Anything fun? Did y'all do anything fun over break? Organization, Izzy. Memphis, thank you for welcoming them. I went outside. I got snowed in. No. I learned how to hate Code Wars. Blah. Met Leon all caps. That is true. Hey. Really close to signing a client cost. That's awesome. Got a baby girl. What? That's amazing. Congrats. I stream too much. The volleyball. Cat relaxed. I loved it. Lost power from Marjorie. Oh, sorry to hear that. All the folks from Texas. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are clearing up a little bit more for you now. Slot machine. Oh Lord. A lot of Code Wars. Yes. Performed at the MFA today? What? Congrats. That's awesome. Spending a lot of time catching up so I can finally join the live classes. Welcome, Tam Sauce. I'm glad that you're here with us live. Rudy, that 24K from the RC students though, it's actually over 26,000 right now. So let's talk about that real quick. So as you know, my day job, Resilient Coders, we're a free nonprofit coding bootcamp. Week 6. So week 6, it is a requirement for you to continue in our program to get a client. We have for the past 4+ years done this. Everyone has always gotten a client. Hundreds of students have gotten clients in week 6. And you have to get a client that's worth $350 or more. So we've had hundreds of students in just 6 weeks of learning go out and get a client. Now, we're in Boston, one of the largest tech hubs in the world. Getting a client's a little bit easier in our neighborhood, but they push, they grind, and they get those clients. And this cohort brought in over $25,000 in that 1 week. In that 1 week, over 25 grand going right into their pockets, And so that was huge to see. Thank you for all the love on that tweet on Twitter. I saw a lot of 100 Devs fam kind of retweeting and liking it, so I appreciate it. But that's important, right? That's important for them to realize that their skills have value, and it's important for you to notice that your skills have value too. You're at the same point. You have the same skill set that they have. You have the same amount of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript experience to go out and start getting clients. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. But you all have the same skill set. Right now, you have the skills to do it. You do. And so we have a privilege of being in a large tech economy, which makes things a lot easier. But your skill set is the same, and your skill set has value. You all work so hard over break, or you work so hard before break and maybe took a real break, right? You have to realize that your skills have value. Showing up to every class will pay off in the long run, I guarantee you. Skills pay the bills. I'm working on 2 clients myself. Cookie, I'd love to hear it. Sent my contract to a client today, Brian. What? Let's go. Alrighty, folks. Like I said, once you get a client, go into our channel on Discord, the celebrations channel. Share your wins. You get a client, share the win. You finally get a raise, share the win. All right. When things click, share that win. It's good to see that folks that are struggling, right, are learning and getting over those hurdles, and it's good for other folks to be able to see. 2 favorite channels on our Discord. Struggle Bus is one of them, right? Making sure that you understand that this is hard. If this was easy, everyone would be a developer, and that we're in the thick of the trough of sorrow. So glad you're all here. Glad you all decided to come back after break. It could have been, you could have just, I don't know, you could have removed Discord off your phone. You could have turned off Twitter, but you didn't. You came back, you showed up, you put in the work, and we're going to keep working. Katie, thank you for the 2. Ooh, we got a couple here. Sorry. Whew. I was in share the love moment. Oos, my bad, right, with the 5 months of Andy's Bucks. Wilson F. Baby with the 4 months. Katie XM with the 2 months. And App Eternal with the 5 months. Thank you all so much for being here. All right, I'm going to go to Little Leon. And we are going to talk through some stuff and then get into our review. I think this class will go a little bit shorter tonight. I think there's some things to talk about, a little bit of hype to build. Next week's going to be a lot of fun. I put a lot of work over break into next week, and then we get into the back end. My dreams of retiring on my BTC have been crushed, so we're back. I always just think about that. The person that bought the first pizza with Bitcoin, like they're just on some island that they own right now. I don't know if anybody's actually ever looked at that transaction to see if they've cashed out or not. It's just Andy with the Andy's Bucks. Thank you so much for the 4 months. Chunky, thank you for the Prime. Glad y'all are here. All right. Alive and still breathing. Let's go. Best week ever part 2. I think next week's going to be pretty close. I think next week being the best week ever part 2 is going to be pretty damn close. All right. Folks are saying, what did I do over break? Over break, I read, I relaxed. I actually took a break. I got a 3D printer, and I've been printing my butt off. Of course, you know how it goes. One of the first things. Whew. Whew, look at that. That's crispy. Crispy. Whew, crispy. 3D printer changed. It's all I think about now. I've been printing my ass off. My wife gave me a list of things that that they wanted printed, and I printed them last night. Last night I printed a self-watering planter. So it's like 2 pieces that were printed, and it like waters the plants by it. Like it's magic. The printer. Now I understand this is a good chunk of money, but the printer was $260. It's an Ender V2, and so for $260, like out the gate, I've been able to print whatever I want. The actual PLA, which is like the plastic or whatever you want to call it that gets melted, is $20 for like the good stuff, and that thing lasts you forever. That the spool is a kilogram, and this was like 100. So like I could print 10 of these big boys off of one spool, but a lot of the smaller stuff I could print like 100 to 1,000 of them. It blew my mind. Crumb Hustler, welcome back. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. So it's a chunk of change, but to be able to build whatever you want for under $300, that's wild. So I just one of the things I kind of talk a little bit about is that like if I had access to this when I was a kid, right? Like I always wanted access to a computer growing up. Like I lived at the library just so I could use the computer. If I had that in my bedroom, whew. How much is the spool? It's $20, but it'll last you like forever. Like if you're printing small stuff, you can print like 100 plus things off of one spool and be solid. Yeah, I didn't know. Like $300 is a chunk of change, but I didn't know like you could get that kind of quality for under $300 all out the gate. Come on now. Hey Reggie, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. All I did was play The Sims for 3 years. Grant, thank you for the 100 bits. So yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did over break. I also set up a lot of stuff behind me. There's a lot of magic in the making here behind me. And the highlight was I actually met one of y'all in person for the first time. So Blah was the first person I've ever met from 100 devs in real life. Printed them off some cookie cutters and did the exchange. And so yeah. It was fun. Buddies like lies. The person I've met solely through 100 devs. Let's put it that way, because there are a lot of other folks here that I didn't meet solely through 100 devs. Cool. Print me a Dactyl keyboard. Oh, I didn't even think about doing that yet. That's wild. All right, everyone's here. I gave everybody a fair. I knew today would be a little weird because folks are getting back. They're waiting for the message. So I think everyone's back now. So we're going to jump right into it. I am glad that you were all here. You were severely missed over break. I am so glad to be back. And I'm not the only one that's back. Bobby's back. I can't wait. So I'm getting off the plane with Quavo. I'm ready. Give me that first day out. I need it. Give me the first day out. All right. So we're going to talk about what's coming up. We're going to talk about 100 devs. We're going to review the big 4, do some problems together. We're going to review arrays, do some problems together. Review objects, do some problems together. I'm going to give you some time to work on an API, and then we're going to call it quits for today. So today should be a slightly shorter stream. It's about review. It's about getting us back into the mode of coming back from break, talking about some stuff that's coming up, and really kind of starting to set the stage for the hard work we're going to put in next week and the hard work we're going to put into as we transition to back-end development. His hat finally came down. If that's not the first scene in his first day out video, I'm going to be livid. All right. I think we got through questions already. We'll spend some more time on questions next class. We spent a little bit of time kind of catching up and saying hello, so we're gonna jump right into it. So this week, tonight will be review. On Thursday we will be doing OOP. So we are going to go over object-oriented programming, the homework that's at the end of these slides. You've seen some of it already, so it might be helpful to review some of that reading, to review that video before Thursday's class, and then put in the rest of the work to review it all before Tuesday's class. Reptar, bro, thank you for the 4 months. Watermelon, thank you for the 2 months. For the Prime. And Dak, thank you for the 4 months of Bezos's bucks. For some reason, there's a little bit of delay on me hearing them, so I'm apologizing. I'm not saying when they come up, but I appreciate y'all. Cool. Today review, Thursday OOP. Next week, we're going to put all that OOP knowledge into practice, building real stuff in object-oriented patterns. And then on Thursday, we're going to be doing all async await. This will give us the foundation for everything that we're going to need before we go into full stack. So before we go into the back end. Where do we get the files? If you join our Discord community, !Discord, there is a follow along materials channel. So you go to that channel, you download the materials. You have to agree to our rules first though. Yeah, so fun class, fun week next week, and the last of like the big things that we need before going into the back end. And then it's all back end. And I can't wait. We're getting right into Node. We're going to start from the building blocks. We're going to start with the what is the core thing that a server needs, right? We're going to talk about network access and file system access. And we're going to build a real server from the most of primitive pieces. From that, we're going to build up. We're going to layer on some Express. We're going to layer on some routing. We're going to start connecting to our Mongo databases. And we're going to start building real full stack web applications. So I love backend, not because it's like I think I enjoy it more or less. It's just that when you start to realize that it's not all magic, that it's not something that's really hard to do, you learn some key concepts and you can start to really build whatever you want. There's a light bulb that's going to happen for all of you where you're like, wait a minute, that's what it is. And now I can build. Like once you learn how to build your like REST API, like it's off to the races. And so I'm excited for you all to get there. I'm excited for you all to have that moment. It's the highlight. Like I teach for that moment. That moment when you realize, holy crap, I can build what I want now. That's what I want for y'all. So back end is where that hits. And so I'm really excited to get you all there. This GIF is too distracting. I'm pumped. I'm pumped too. This is from Squidward's OnlyFans. You all don't know about that. It's an exclusive club. So I took a little bit of a break too, so I'm really behind on Discord and DMs, and so you got to give me tonight and tomorrow to get caught up. I'm gonna make sure that I'm all caught up on my DMs by end of day tomorrow. So there's some that are a couple weeks back that I got to get to. So I'm gonna get caught up on my DMs and on Discord by tomorrow night. So if I haven't gotten to you yet, I'm getting back to you. I took a little bit of a break too. Knox. Also, it's going to get funky. I've been messing with Streamlabs a lot. I got a lot of equipment behind me that I'm getting ready. It's going to get funky. Like the music was weird. I don't know why the music was weird. It's going to get funky. So give me a little flexibility here. Not only with like stream quality and settings, I'm trying a lot of new stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of newer things that we haven't done on stream before, pulling in live guests and fun stuff like that. So it's going to get a little funky. It's going to get a little funky, and just bear with me. Also, class timing going to get a little funky. We're going to try some stuff based on the feedback that y'all gave me from the survey. We're going to try some things. A reminder, no networking until March. I wanted you all to take the break through March, so no networking this week. Next week, we'll get back into it. Our client deadline is scheduled for this upcoming Tuesday. And so that was the expectation, is that you hit that deadline by Tuesday. If you haven't found a client yet, remember, there are some alternatives, right? There are some alternatives. Go for Mitch. I'm going to ask you to just submit like the last page of your contract, if you got a contract. I'm going to ask for your commit if you did the other things. So remember, there are some alternatives. You don't have to get a paid client if for some reason you're not able to work. Some folks have visa issues. Some folks are in a location where freelancing is really not an option. So there are some alternatives. You can volunteer for, you can volunteer for a grassroots organization, still get a contract. Please, if you are working with an actual nonprofit grassroots organization, still get a contract. All right. You can also contribute to a free software or open source project, right? And this link here, this first timers only, is a great place to get started if you're having trouble finding those projects that you can contribute to. And remember, yes, I am not a lawyer. I am not an accountant. Everything here is not legal or financial advice. Do so at your own risk, but it'll help you get a job. Cool. The classes are up to date on YouTube. So if you want to watch the classes on YouTube because it gives you better control, no ads, right? You can catch up on all the classes. The office hours and the Friday classes will be put up on there too. But all the classes are up to date, and we'll add the other stuff on there as well. Newsletter. If you haven't joined the newsletter, you should. Exclamation point newsletter in chat. It is the fastest way to get information on new stuff. I always put the goodies in the newsletter. And the reason why I put the goodies in the newsletter first is because the sponsors that have been helping us out really care about it. So I put the goodies in the newsletter first, like the links to the the office hours always get put in there first. I share kind of the good stuff from the newsletter first. And so you should definitely be on the newsletter if you want all the cool stuff first. And if you open them, I sprinkle some surprises in there every once in a while. There will be some pretty big Discord updates very soon. There will be some new channels added, some things removed. And so make sure that, like I said, it's going to get a little funky. Hang with me. Channel points. The Simicam is down for this week. Next week is going to come back in force with Mashi and a lot of new stuff. So there's some weird things that are happening right now with the channel points. Some things are getting added, some things are getting removed. Bear with me. All of the channel point redemptions have been boxed up. They're stamped. They're going out. So you should see your Pokemon cards if you got one come in the mail soon. For folks that won the raffles, all the stuff came in over break. So those are going out soon. I just got to figure out some like international shipping stuff for some folks. And yeah, so we should be all caught up with like raffles and channel point redemptions by the end of this week. And Will got the Pokemon card. I said we were going to do a like randomizer from this. So I guess we got to build a randomizer real quick. I saw some folks got merch from the last drop. Sajorski, hey, thank you for the gifted sub. So we said we were going to do a randomizer. So let's do a randomizer real quick. Hold on. Let's do this. And then I got to remember what the... There was a list, right? All right, we'll do this. We'll do this at the break. When we take a break, I'll set everything up. That way we don't have to do it right now and hold folks over. But during break, I will set up the... I got to pull up the card list, but I got to blank out the ones that were sent. So that's the only thing that I'm like pausing on. So when we take a break, when we come back from break, we'll do the randomization for your card, Will. Oh, your sweater came in? All right, cool. Yeah, I did see some folks got them in. So hopefully it's not... I know some areas probably shipping was delayed, especially with Texas and stuff like that. Leon, when's the next drop? I need a mask. There was like one mask left in the store for a really long time. I don't know if somebody else grabbed it yet, but I would double check. You don't know. It could still be there. All right. So that's the channel points. Should all be caught up. You should see your stuff coming in the mail very, very soon. This Friday, we're going to do our crafting your story class. So come on Friday, we're going to craft some stories live. So we're going to have some folks that are going to join us live. They're going to tell me about their past experience, and on the spot, we're going to build their story. I'm going to share some slides and some really important aspects about how you can build your story. No matter what your background or experience is, I'm going to make sure that your story is dope. So we're going to come and learn the basics together on Friday. We're going to have some folks join us live, and we're going to craft their stories live. Like I won't have thought of it at any point before then. We're going to talk through how kind of varied experiences can actually lend you to doing very well in the job hunt. And so come this Friday for everything you need to know about how to craft your story. And this is super important. The crafting of your story is so important because it's one of the things that open the doors for you when you're actually applying. Daddy Yankee, I'm going to reach out to folks like today or tomorrow to share on Friday. Yeah. When's the JavaScript cryptography? So I'm trying to finesse a sponsor for it. I'll let you know how that goes. So I don't have a hard date yet. I feel like if we're going to do something with like crypto, that maybe we should see if we can get some crypto, right? Like that makes sense. So I'm going to try. If it doesn't work out, we'll put it on the books. But that's what I've been trying to finesse. Who am I reaching out to specifically? For like the sponsor, you mean? Oh, for the crafting your story. It's just folks that put their name on the link. I shared like a link if you wanted to share your stuff with me in the past. So I had like 5 or 6 people reach out to me through that link. So I'm gonna send them a message tonight or tomorrow. All right. Office hours. We're gonna try office hours on a different day. We're gonna try office hours on Sunday. And since it's Sunday, a little bit later. So instead of 12 p.m., we're going to try 1 p.m. And we're going to see. We're going to see how it works. From the feedback we got, it seemed like a lot of folks wanted it a little bit later or trying a Sunday. So we're going to try Sunday. We'll see how it works. If it doesn't work, we'll figure something else out. But we're going to try it. We're going to see if that works a little bit better. I feel like we might kind of be rotating a little bit some class, not Tuesday or Thursday. I think that'll always be our mainstay. But like the extra and review classes, we're going to try different days. So office hours will not be Saturday. It'll be Sunday. And I'm want to add a solid day for review. So I want like a class that's just straight up review. I just spit all over my monitor. That should just review. It's looking like that day might be Monday. Yeah. Cash, it's funny that you mentioned that. One of the folks that's running their sponsorship thing is like a good friend. So I'm going to talk to them. That makes a lot of sense. I should just reach out to them. Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, so we're going to try Sunday, and then we're going to add a full day just for review, and I think that'll be Mondays. I'm not really sure exactly yet, but we'll do it. Cool. Don't you need a day off? Well, I'm going to be taking Saturday off. I'm going to be taking Saturday off instead of Sunday, just to see how that plays out. My wife and I did like Shabbat over the break, and it was like really wonderful. And so we might do like the Friday into Saturday offline type thing. So we're going to try that. I'm going to try Saturday being my day off. I've had Sunday off for my life. So I always have done Sunday, but we're going to try Saturday. Yeah. So we're going to try Saturday, and we're going to shift the office hours to Sunday. So don't worry about me. I'm still getting my day off. I appreciate the concern. All right. I wanted to share this. I thought this was really important to share. This is important to share because this is from the feedback that I got. There's a few more folks that have responded now. Thank you. Exclamation point feedback if you haven't. if you haven't. So you can do that if you would like to give us feedback if you haven't. A couple things that I've really enjoyed from the feedback. Some of you all think that this is like a company that's doing 100 devs. It's me, a merry group of mods, and y'all. So that was really interesting to see. No, it's just us, folks. It's just us. But there were some really good things that you all shared with me that are really important to me, and I think really important to the growth of the community. So thank you for sharing. I'm digging through all of it. I took like quick looks through everything because I was trying to take a break too. But every single thing that you shared, I'm going to go through with a fine tooth comb and hopefully pull out some nuggets of wisdom here. So here's kind of two of the results I wanted to share. How's the pace of program? 61% said about right. And another almost 20% said fast. And then a small slither said too fast. So that's about like 80% that are thinking it's kind of going fast or too, like it's about right or too fast. And then there is another percent that's, let's say like 30% that thinks it's too slow or slow. So I think that was important to note. I think it's a pretty solid, yeah, exactly. It's a pretty solid distribution. I'm really this is kind of the thing I think about the most is like pacing and are we going too fast, too slow? And so I'm of the notion that yes, we are going at a pretty good pace. I think as we get into back end and gear shift, folks that feel like it was going too slow now have more stuff to work on. Folks that felt like it was going too fast, maybe your brain gets a shift onto these new things and things start to click. And for the bulk of you, it'll kind of be the same pattern, right? So I'm feeling pretty comfortable with the pace of class. And I'm gonna address kind of like where we're gonna be at the end of program. But I feel like this was a good thing to note that if you think it's going a little too slow, you have some company. And if you think it's going a little too fast, you definitely have some company. And I am going to make sure, right, that if you want to push, you can push. And I want to make sure that I'm giving more review for the folks that need the review. So I think for the bulk of, oh my gosh, I forgot that I have hot corners on, which I think is hilarious. Hot corners. All right, never mind. Y'all might not be hip, but maybe you are. But hot corners on Mac is Bobby's out. Hot corners. Hot corners is where if you put your mouse to a corner, it locks your screen. And so that's what it is. Every once in a while I hit it and I'm like, cool. So I feel kind of okay with the pace. I'm going to make sure that we have push work for those that want push work, but I really want to emphasize like what you should be pushing on. And we're going to add an extra day for review for the folks that need it. Cool. This was, I thought, really important too. So in terms of material taught so far, 40% said I understand the current material. 10% said they were ahead. And another slither, maybe let's call it 5%, said they were very ahead. So a little over 50% that feels good about where they're at, right? But then it's really important to understand that we have about 35% of individuals that feel behind, and about 10% that feel very behind. Okay. Once again, great distribution. But here's the rub. If you want to do a boot camp, right? And you go to a normal, you go to a normal boot camp, you pay your monies. The dirty little secret that pervades this industry, of which I am very much a part of, right? The dirty secret is that it's a whole lot of survivorship bias. It's a whole lot of folks that signed up, never made it through the boot camp, and whisked away. And the dirty little secret is that boot camps have come up with some really creative ways to hide that information from you. Right? Anonymous Cheer, hey, thank you for 100 bits. There are some boot camps that don't count your participation in the boot camp until halfway. What? You have to get like halfway through, right, before they count you as being part of the boot camp. Like, what the fuck is that? Right? And the real thing is that a lot of folks will sign up for these boot camps and they kind of just weed folks out. You either make it through or you don't. And I'm not saying that I haven't participated in this. Resilient Coders is very competitive. We have a lot of folks that do not make it through program. We lose about 10% of folks. But the problem, however, right now is that a lot of these boot camps aren't losing 10%. They're losing 50, 40, 50% of folks. And that's of folks that have like passed their challenges, of folks that have like done like all this work to get in, folks that have like put money up on the line, right? And I think that's kind of fucked up. I don't think it's kind of, I think it really is. And so I don't want that to be us. I really don't want that to be us. I want folks to feel like if they've put in the time and effort, that our community is going to support them in getting to the end. Right? Yes, I know we're not paying money. Yes, I know everything is free, but your time is really important to me. The idea that over 300 of y'all are showing up every Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, that has immense amount of value. And so I don't ever want this to be a program where by design we lose 50% of y'all. That's not what 100 devs is, right? If we lost half of y'all right now, we'd be at 150. Still would hit our 100, but that's not what I mean. That's not what I want, right? That's not what I want. And so if you are here right now, I want to support you through the end and to getting a job. Now, what does that mean? That means that I'm going to be adding more review classes. That means some days I will do review instead of pushing forward. That means that we're really going to use up the full 30 weeks, right? And so I want it to be known and I want it to be said and I want it to verbalize that this will not be a boot camp that burns through folks and is okay with losing half the people as we go through. Right? That's not what we're doing here. Right? That's not what we're doing here. This will never be what this is about. If you are here, I am seeing you through getting a job. Now, class is going to get hard. Backend is not the easiest thing in the world for your brain to wrap around. The pace of class will continue at a normal bootcamp pace. But there will be weeks where we just do review. There will be times where I would say, hey, if you need to push. But this Tuesday and Thursday, we're doing review. We're going to add an extra class. They'll hopefully be able to keep that pace, right? So the Tuesdays and Thursdays, I want to keep them going at the normal pace, and we're going to add an extra class for folks that really need that review, okay? So my goal is that we can keep the same the pace, and have an extra day that's for review. And so now that we're partnered, we can do whatever we want. I don't care if 5 of you show up, 3 of you show up. I don't care if everyone shows up. We can take these risks because it doesn't matter anymore. We got the quality settings. That's what we set out for, right? So know that that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to make sure that Tuesday and Thursdays continue at a normal bootcamp pace. We're going to be adding an extra day just for review, like actual hands-on keyboard review. And we're still going to have our office hours, right? we're opening up, and I'm working on systems to bring more mentors into the community, more peers in the community that can help with your code. We already have talent in 100 Devs that is supporting each other, right? Every single person here knows something well. I don't care if it was HTML, CSS, some weird thing of JavaScript. You know something very well. And what I want 100 Devs to be going forward is uplifting each other so that the folks that understand certain issues can share that in a way that makes sense for everyone. So we already have some folks, Diabolical, that's been streaming. We're going to be building out the 100 Dev stream team. We're going to have folks that can hopefully break down topics in a different way. So there'll be more days that if you have time, you can consume 100 Devs content. I'm hoping that folks will be pushing on some days. Some days folks will be doing reviewing. We'll be building out our blog. A lot of stuff that's coming up. I'm not ready to make that announcement yet, but there's a lot of really cool stuff that's coming up that I want to make sure that we can start highlighting and building up the community so that everyone can learn. And I just really want to make it clear that this will never be a boot camp where half of y'all bounce. That's not what we're doing. Now that might be upsetting to some folks. That might be like, no, Leon, I want super aggressive. Great. I'm going to give push work, but there's also full stack open. There's things you could be doing that you can push really fast if you want. But this is going to be so that we can bring as many people with us as possible. Okay? All right. And as always, this should prove to you that you're not alone. If you're feeling like, you know what, I feel a little behind. I feel like there's some things I need to learn still. That's 50% of y'all. That's a big chunk of people. And so you're not alone. You're not alone, and we are going to support you across the finish line. We are going to make sure you get there. We're adding more days. We're making more content. We're going to make it so that you can learn and understand. And I'm just going to ask that you push yourself. That's all I'm ever going to ask. That's what I ask. Push yourself. Get a little uncomfortable. Put in the effort. And we're going to be there to support you. All right. Now, the caveat to this is some folks will be like, well, Leon, is this going to be fast enough for us to get a job? And that's the face you make. And the answer is yes. I've helped thousands of people learn how to code. And I've helped hundreds, not a couple people, hundreds of people get jobs as software engineers. And not some bullshit where I taught them in 5th grade and now they're an engineer at Count It. No. Like, my hands have touched their keyboard. Me and my team have worked with them night and day to make sure they get into their careers, right? I have seen hundreds of folks get jobs. I know what it takes to get a job in software engineering. I'm not the best engineer in the world. I'm not the best developer. I'm not the best instructor. But what I'm really damn good at is getting people jobs. So when I tell you that I'm going to make sure you have the skills that you need to get a job, please believe me. And I'm going to do it at a pace so that you don't fucking burn out. That's the reason why these boot camps, they're successful, is they burn out people and they leave, and half of them leave, and the half that didn't burn out, those are the ones that get through it. Fuck that. I'm pacing class. The things I give you, the reading is intentional. The videos I give you have worked for other people. I'm not sitting there going, what should I do this week? Do I think this will work? I don't know. I've seen it work. It's the only reason I give it to you. I do not waste your time. I do not waste your time. I've been around the block for the past 4.5 years. Not some bullshit where there was a marketing team helping me. No, it was me and a team of 4 other individuals that got people hundreds of jobs. Me and 4 other people, hundreds of jobs. This is the shit I know how to do, and I'm very fucking good at it. So when I say that you're going to get a job, I mean it. If you do the things that I ask. When I give you reading, I'm not making it up. I'm not going, oh, I wonder. No, when I give you a video, it's because I've seen it help somebody else. When I tell you that it won't be the skills that get you the job, I really fucking mean it. It's going to be all the extra stuff. It's going to be your portfolio. It's going to be the networking. It's going to be all the little intangibles that we bring up in our Friday classes. You could stop right now. If you just stopped right now and just came to Friday's classes, you'll probably get a job. Right? I've helped people with just HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript get a job. But their portfolios were immaculate. They networked their ass off. Their LinkedIn was crafted. Their Twitter was popping. Right? So when I tell you that we're going to get there, we're going to get there. And if you feel like the pace isn't fast enough, well, I've designed it that way because I don't want you to burn out. And I've pushed people to the edge for the past 5 years to get them there. And I'm going to do the same for you. I'm going to push you just to where you think you can't be pushed. And then I'm going to pull you back a little bit. So we're going to start. It's going to get spicy. Right? Like we got to get into back end, and then you're building project after project after project. You're working in team after team after team. And so this has been our bed, the bedrock that we're building on. But there's so much more that we're going to be doing that isn't just the skills. It's not just the code. There's so many other things that we have to work through. So when I ask you, please, if you're serious about this and you want a job and I give you some reading, it's because I want you to get better at reading. When I give you a video, it's because that person explained a concept that has made sense to other folks in the past. And when I ask you to do your networking starting next week, and when I ask you to do things that are going to make you a little uncomfortable, I just ask that you do it because it works. It works. There is another thing I didn't want to put on here just because I didn't want it to be, I think it was a little too triggering. But the number of folks that are in this community because they are unemployed and because they were affected by the pandemic, you know that's why we started. That's why we're here. We're here to get a job, right? And there's no way I'm not going to lead you to that place. No way. So, yes, we're doing this to get a job, and we're going to get there. I think I missed some folks. Anonymous Cheer, thank you for the 100 bits. Trufer, thank you for the 4 months. Anonymous for another 100. Methus for the hydration. Cheers to you. Thank you so much. And Pogo, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Woo. All right, folks. Whew. Eloquent JS Book Club? Heck yeah, let's go. All right, let's get into it, folks. Before we jump into the review, and there's one thing that came up that I just want to make clear. Like, I really want to make like getting to class quicker. So I really want to like the rants and the catch up will be, I'm going to keep that to like under 30 minutes. Like 20 minutes is my goal. Like I'm trying to shoot for 20 minutes and then jumping into class. Like that's my goal. I know we literally just took an hour to do all this, but I feel like that needed to be said. I wanted to like make sure that people understood like the intention and what we're shooting for. But I really want to get to class quicker. So that's coming up. Alrighty. Yeah. Reptar, hey, I appreciate the kind words. All right. Scorpio, I think so too. All right. Next week, everything changes. Next week, I've been working on this for a month solid. It's going to be big. Next week, some big news. Blah, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Next week's big. Some of you already have been snooping. Some of you have been snooping around, sharing things. I see you. But we got some. Riz is like, yep, yeah, I have been snooping. So next week we got some big news, and you think you know what it is, but you don't. You think that you understand, but you don't. It's gonna be big. I'm really excited about it, and I think it's gonna be one of the things that gives you a huge competitive edge. So I'm really excited for next week. We got some fun stuff to get into next week. Yeah. I think I already said Microsoft's coming back. Microsoft was like, let's get this going. Microsoft will be sponsoring our identity class. So when we get to the point where we need to have users log in, right? When we have users log in, Microsoft is actually sponsoring that class. And it's going to be way bigger than the last one. Like way bigger. Like what? Like I'm still shocked bigger. So yes, that's coming up. That's a given. Another sponsor, already a given. Got that on lock. This is bigger. This is more important. Cool. I want to go ahead and I want to get into some review. And then we are going to do some reviewing of key concepts, especially if you're new. Welcome. A lot of folks joined over the break. Glad you are here. If you would like to learn how to code, welcome to the best community online to learn how to code. Make sure you join our Discord, !Discord, and we would love to help you on your journey. Cool. We're going to do some quick review. We're going to go through the big four, our functions, our conditionals, our loops, and our variables. And then we're going to review our arrays and our objects. And then we are going to spend a little bit of time with some APIs. Daddy Anki, thank you for the 6 months. That still blows my mind. Leon here, the Diddy of devs, creating the bad boy records of tech I call divs. That's hilarious. Glad you're here. Thank you so much. Medi, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. You know what? We're at the top of the hour, folks. We're at the top of the hour. Let's take our break, and when we come back, we're getting into it. We got some good review. We got some fun review. We got some Code Wars-esque questions that are gonna rack your brain a little bit, but we're gonna review them together. Okay, and so let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break. If you're new here, we always take a 5-minute break at the top of the hour. We're in this for the long haul, for the rest of our career. We don't want our fingers and our eyes and our hands giving out on us. So I'm going to go ahead and put 5 minutes on the clock, and then we're going to come back and get right into it. Ron, thank you for the posture check. I'm going to get my posture check in here. I'm also going to, hold on real quick. Oh yeah. There we go. If you're new here, you don't get to see those kind of stretches. That's OnlyFans content, folks. All right, I'm gonna put 5 minutes on the clock here. We're gonna put some wonderful chill music. Hopefully, it's not too scratchy. And go ahead and take your 5 minutes, and we'll be back here to jump right into the lovely JavaScript. All right, folks, if you're able to, give your hands a little bit of a break. If you're able to, maybe get up, get a little bit of stretch. Let your eyes kind of focus off of something into the distance. It's a big help. Grab some water. The music is choppy. The folks that have choppy music, is it are you on what quality setting are you on? Are you on the 1080-60 source? High? Yeah, it's across the board. All right, we're gonna chill the music for today. I normally like a little bit of music, but no idea. We're gonna have to come back and test it. So we'll just chill the music for now. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird that like my mic is coming across fine, but the music is not. CPU temps look good. Nothing weird. You can always beatbox. Yeah, I don't know how good my beatboxing will come in on this mic. It's not my normal setup, you know. It's not my normal setup, so I can't hit the highs, I can't get the lows. You started your plant-based journey this week. Hey, that's awesome, Nurkler. Glad to hear that. Beatboxing's a little choppy. Did you see the parachute fall on The Bachelor? No. My rule for The Bachelor is I can only watch it while I'm exercising. And I took a break from exercising, so I haven't seen anything. I'm getting back into I've had my break. I'm back into it. So I'll catch up this week for sure. Channel points to get Leon to beatbox. Are there any sessions with Leon that we can book? I haven't opened March yet. And the reason I haven't opened March yet is because I think we're going to add a class on Monday, which means that I would need to figure out the block of time that'll be open. So there's on Thursday I'll open the times for sure, but yeah. So you'll find out that the times are open by being signed up to the newsletter, ! Newsletter. That's where I'll mention my openings first. So if you sign up for the newsletter, you'll hear about the openings first. But it's got to figure out the block of time because I do need like an hour or two to prep before each class. And so if we're just doing a review, though, I think that might be a little bit easier and I might be able to reduce it. So what I think Mondays will wind up being is I'll probably have, instead of like 20, maybe 10 blocks on Monday, a little bit of a break, and then a review stream will start. And then I'll probably find another block of 10 maybe before our Friday class. I'm not sure. I gotta think through a little bit more. Yeah. 3 people saw a project and told me they'd get me interviews at their companies. How do I play this? So get the interview, right? I think it's important to figure out what they're hiring for, what the expectations of the role are. If it fits your current skill set, maybe pursue it. Definitely book a time with me. But most of the time I tell folks to kind of slow play those invites, right? Say, oh, that's wonderful. I'm very much looking forward to kind of an interview. I'm going to start interviewing in like a month, right? Like you slow it a little bit. You say like in like a month or 2 is when I'm going to start looking for new roles. Yeah. And so that's what I normally say. So I don't think folks, unless you've been really kind of cranking the code wars, you might not be fully ready to interview yet. So you'd want to kind of slow play it a little bit. Food channel. We can hear the alarm. Wait, how do you hear the alarm? Huh? So here's why that's weird It's weird because I am capturing my Mac OS on my PC. So it's very odd to me that you could hear. So that means the desktop audio is coming from the capture card and not my PC, which will probably be why the sound issue is happening. We're debugging, folks. Look at us go. Look at us debug in real time. So that's what it seems like. It seems like, yeah, it came from the capture card somehow. What? I didn't even know that was a thing. Wow. I'm glad y'all didn't catch me slipping, because I could have been playing some stuff on the side. I don't know. That's good to know. I didn't even know that it captured audio. I guess that makes sense. That's so weird. Because normally the what? Normally the sound of the timer plays through my speakers. Hold on. Is it because I have... Wait. You know, like the meme where like all the math is passing through them? That's what I feel like right now. All right, I'll figure that out. That's going to be weird because it's going to be hard for me to set up the RAID. But okay, I'll figure that out. You might see like a weird test stream before next class because we need to figure out what that's all about. But that sound was choppy too. Interesting. Cool. All right, we'll figure it out. All right, folks, we're going to jump back into it. Welcome back from break. Hope you had a good break. Hope you had the ability to stretch a little bit, grab some water, hydrate. Let's go ahead and jump into some review. We got a lot of practice problems tonight, some that are a little bit heavy, some that are a little bit easy. And we're just going to do some light review. If you have questions, ask questions. And like I said, I don't think stream will go all the way tonight. Tonight's about kind of getting back into the swing of things. Thursday's class is going to be a little heavy, and next week's going to be a little heavy. So let's enjoy the review this evening. I can't hydrate because my water is frozen. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Now I'm intrigued. Can we redeem channel points to see your setup? We're going to see it next week because I got a lot to show you. All right. Deep breath. Let's come back into it. Let's center. Let's code. What is a program? Well, a program is simply a set of instructions that you write to tell a computer what to do. And if that is a program, what is programming, chat? Chat, what is programming? If a program is a set of instructions, what is programming? I forgot what a program is. Computer gods. Writing programs. Yeah, it's creating those sets of instructions. Yeah, the act of writing those instructions. Exactly. So, program is a set of instructions. Programming is writing those instructions, but in a language that the computer can understand. Because we could write our instructions in pseudocode, and that would make sense to you and I, right? We could understand the pseudocode, but that pseudocode might not make sense to a computer. And so when we're programming, we're writing our instructions in a language that the computer can understand. The language we're using is JavaScript because of one really important reason. It is the quickest path to employment, which is full stack JavaScript. There are some wonderful languages out there. I started my career in Ruby and Ruby on Rails. I love it dearly. I write Python every day. I love it. But hands down, the quickest path to a career is full stack JavaScript. You learn one language, you don't have to context switch, and it's super in demand. All right, we're going to talk about the big four. The big four is how we write those instructions. First, the big four is variables. Variables enable us to store a value to retrieve later on. There are two really important steps to our variables: declaration and assignment. Declaration is creating that space in memory, and assignment is giving that space in memory a value. You can do both at the same time. If you are new, this is a super fast review. You can do ! 100 devs in our chat, and that'll give you everything you need to catch up, but this is going to be fast. we have conditions. And conditions are a way of checking to see if something is true. And if what you put inside your parentheses is true, then you do what is inside of the curly braces. Now, you can have an if and then as many else ifs as you would like. Right? You can have if, else if, else if, else if, else if. Chat, do you need an else as part of your conditions? Do you need an else? Nope. You do not need an else. An else is optional. It is a default. I just love the wall. Hey, look at us go. It is a default. If you choose to include an else, the else will automatically run, right? It will automatically run once everything above it was false. So if all your ifs and all your else ifs are false, then your else will automatically run. You can do multiple checks inside your parentheses. You can have an and in which both conditions must be true. So if your name is Leon and your status is ballin', you get a wink at the camera. That's my first time with the camera on this side. I don't know if you noticed that the camera changed, but it's on this side now. Hey, there you go. You can also do or. So if the day is Saturday or the day is Sunday, it's the weekend. All right. So and double ampersand or what's this character called, chat? What are these characters called? This is my good side. Yeah, pipe character. Nice. I actually think this is my better side. I kind of liked it on that side, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Chat, what are functions? What are functions? Chat, what are functions? Ooh, go for Mitch. I like that. Yeah, reusable instructions, values. Okay. Instructions that can be repeated. Nice. A small set of instructions, reusable blocks of code. Yeah, these are all kind of pretty good definitions there. Functions are simple sets of instructions, right? They are reusable. When we get to best practices, they should perform one action, and they form the basic building blocks of all of our code. And be the things that we use quite often to actually do work. We have a couple different ways of creating functions. Here is a function declaration. There are also function expressions, and there are also arrow functions when you get to ES6. Here we have our function declaration. We have the function keyword, the name of our function, and then the parameters, the buckets that are going to hold the values that we pass in. Down here is a function call where we're passing in arguments. Arguments are the values that we pass into a function. Now, here's a really important question. Why do functions have the ability to pass arguments in? Why is that? Why is that a feature of functions? Why can we pass arguments into functions? Like, why does that exist? Why does that exist? And this isn't so much just a JavaScript. It's a good question. Oh, Grant, I like it. Yeah. If our functions are meant to be reusable, right? If our functions are meant to be reusable, we might want to be able to pass in different things into the function. So even though the function is doing the same steps, we might be able to get different values out, right? We might be able to get different values out. So even though we're doing the same steps, we might be getting different values out. I am really sweating that you can hear my Mac. I'm like, oh, I gotta check all these tabs. I don't know. That's weird. I'm so glad. I am so glad that the timer went off. I did not know that was possible. Whew, timer saved me. Saved me. Bobby just got out too. Might have had to go back in. All right, here is a function. Leon only stores his OnlyFans content on his Mac. Alrighty, here's our function declaration. We have a function name called yell. We have word, which is a parameter. And here is our function call. We're passing in hello as an argument. Hello goes into word. Wherever we see word, it's actually hello. And we see a pop-up that says hello. Cool. Chat, what are loops? What are loops, chat? What can a loop do for us? Yeah, iteration. Ooh, y'all coming back with the big words. See some people were doing that free code camp. Some people are doing that code academy over break. I love to see it. I love to see it. Yeah, iterates. Nice. Come back with the big words. Enables us to repeat some actions, right? Enables us to do something a number of times. We know that there are kind of three main types of loops in JavaScript: for, while, and do while. And they kind of each offer a different way to determine the start and end point, right? Start and end point. We also know that there are some special loops built into JavaScript, especially with things like arrays, for each, map, etc. Code Academy, love, hate. Sorry, this is totally off tangent, but I was today years old when I realized, right? Do you know at the end of, because I've always known it, but I saw this on Reddit the other day. People were like losing their mind. At the end of Chamber of Secrets, like the movie, there is an end credit scene. None of the other movies have an end credit scene, but Chamber of Secrets has an end credit scene. Just saying, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you never saw the end credit scene after Chamber of Secrets. I've known people that have watched Chamber of Secrets 100 times and never knew that there is an end credit scene after Chamber of Secrets. So after class, everybody's like 5-minute break. No, after class, you might wanna go check it out. It's actually it's short, but it's cool. Here is a for loop. We set up our counter. We say when the loop's going to end and how our counter is going to increment after each run. So in this case, I starts off at 1. We would console log 1 to the console. It would go up by 1. We put 2, 3, 4, and then we would get up to 5. But since 5 is less than 5, this stops running. All right. Let's get your fingers moving and go ahead and take a look at our first set of code this evening. So you're going to go ahead and open up Boulder Badge. If you are new and you don't have the starter code, !Discord in our chat, agree to the rules, and there is a follow along materials channel that has all the starter code you need this evening. So go ahead and download the code if you haven't already. We're going to go ahead and open it. We're going to go to the Boulder Badge. If you look at the JavaScript file, there are some things I would like you to work through. There's a variables piece, a conditionals piece, and a loops piece. These are just kind of very simple, although wordy problems that should just kind of get you moving. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock here, and then we're going to review it together. We'll put 7 minutes on the clock here because you got to look up some, if you don't remember the conversion math, that might take a little bit longer. So put 7 minutes on the clock here. As always, if you finish and you're done, put done on the chat. Let's go ahead. Let me open up Smart Timer. I'm going to put 7 minutes on it. My hot corners are just wilding today. Cool, 7 minutes. Have at it. All right. We can't do music today because for some reason it's been a little weird. Let me check on my sound settings and see what's happening here. Output, no. Let's do built-in for output. Cool. All right, so now it shouldn't be outputting the Mac. Let's come back over here and make sure. Let's see what audio we're doing here. Headphones. Yup. Yup. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if I have to end stream for the music to be fixed, but I think I've changed some things up here that might make it better. Let's try work music. How's that sound? If it's still choppy, I won't be able to fix it until after stream. We might have to restart stream for it to be fixed, but those are things I could think to fix on the fly. Choppy. Clear. Choppy. Still choppy. Trash. Choppy, slightly better though. All right. I'm gonna just pause. We'll do it without the music this evening. We could restart stream if we wanted to. Hey, welcome. Cool. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up, but we'll figure it out. So instead of music, I'll just hum. No, I'm just joking. You got 5 minutes. 5 minutes, folks. I think alert sounds might be on now, though, so we just gotta be careful. Cool. Alyssa done already? What? Yeah, it's weird that like all music, like even different sources was choppy. I think it's just a Streamlabs thing. It's not the most stable. Izzy with the done. Blah with the done. All right. Sort it. I love it. Are we creating Pokemon objects with those? You will be asked to create a Pokemon object down the line, yes. Sheenan with the done. All right. Got my lucky Bulbasaur to guide you all. Mayan with the done. All right. It's a little dry without the music. I don't know. I gotta figure that out. It's weird. It's kind of just like, I feel like I'm just sitting here watching y'all instead of like, vibing. Let me do this. Let's Yeah, so it's not gonna be super clear, but we'll take it over just the my mouth breathing on into the mic. Can I do it through? Hold on. Are you kidding me? 1 second. Well, this is good. We can figure out like this is like a backup in case this ever happens again. Hey, let's go. Poker Rap has to be like a lot of channel points. All chill, no vibes. Did you give a nick? I never, ever nickname my Pokemon. It's one of my, I know people love it. I know it's the thing everyone does, but it always made competitive really hard for me as a little kid. And I hated it because I didn't know what Pokemon, like I didn't recognize the sprites. I just had trouble like visualizing them. And so I always hate when people name their Pokemon. So I never named mine, which I know is weird. Got a lot of folks coming in done. Nice. I would Poker Rap for 0 channel points. Minute left. How many points for 16 bars? Oof. Is it a cleared sample? Like, are we like? Can you use it? That might be different. Ooh, we got a lot more folks coming in done. About 20 seconds left, folks. Wilson F. Baby with the done. All right. Cordionet with the done. I see you. 10 seconds. Come on back. Come on back. All right. Boom. All right. Welcome back, folks. Hope you had a good run. Let's go ahead and work through these ones together. If you didn't finish, that is okay. We're going to take a look through them, as always, together. All right. Brock got rolled. Alrighty, you are getting ready to face Brock for the. If you don't know anything about Pokemon, I'm sorry. This is gonna be a rough class. You're getting ready to face Brock for the Boulder Badge. You want 3 Pokemon on your team that each have evolved at least once, and you have Bulbasaur, which is at level 5 and evolves at level 16. Caterpie, which is at level 1 and evolves at level 7, and Weedle, which is at level 1 and evolves at level 7. Create 3 variables to store the number of rare candies each of your Pokemon would need to evolve. Rare candies increases your level by 1. And finally, create a 4th variable that totals all of the candies that would be needed so that all of our Pokemon could evolve at least once before facing Brock. Pasta tofu. Parents always said Pokemon was a waste of time. Leon proved them wrong. I'm out here creating dreams, folks. All right, let's go and take a look at this. All right, so we need to create 3 variables. So I'm going to say, I'm going to call this let Bulbasaur candies equal. And if Bulbasaur is at level 5, it needs to be level 16. That is 11 candies. Let's also go ahead and do Caterpie candies. And if they are at 1 and evolves at 7, that is 6 candies. Now, some real OGs might have said 6 candies. No way am I evolving to Metapod, and just went straight for the Butterfree. I wouldn't have hated. I think that was a smart move. All right. I made JavaScript do those calcs. That's not a bad idea, actually. Cool. And then what was our last one? Let's do Weedle candies, and we'll set that equal to 6 as well. And then the last variable we had, which was total candies, so we can say let total candies equal, and then it was simply harden forever. Why did I think 16 minus 5 was 9? All right, let's go ahead and let's just add these together. So we can just do Bulbasaur candies plus Caterpie candies plus Weedle candies. I don't know why I did a bang there. That's weird. Cool. And we had to, that's it. Just had to have a fourth variable that summed it all. Cool. Let's go ahead and let's just log this real quick. Just to make sure that everything's working here. I'm going to go ahead and open this in the browser. I'm going to come over to my browser here. For some reason, open another one. Cool. There we go. All right, Boulder Badge is on the screen. Let's inspect. Pokemon, don't sue me. And we got 23. So let's go ahead and double check our math here. 11 plus 6 is 17. 17 plus 6 is 23. Cool. That's it. You know, just getting the shoulders moving here, getting the fingers flexing, getting these variables going again. Yeah. All right, let's keep moving. Alrighty. Conditionals and functions. You have a Charmander in your party. Charmander can only battle if the temperature is above 0 degrees Celsius. Create one function that converts a Fahrenheit value to Celsius, and another function that tells you whether or not Charmander can battle. All right. Let's go ahead and do this together. If you know the conversion math, can you throw the conversion math into chat, please? That'll make my life a little bit easier. I'm going to create my first function called temp convert. And it's going to take in a Fahrenheit value, and it's going to return a Celsius value. And so we will do F minus 32, and then we are going to times it by 5 knives. And so we've done this in class before, so this should be a little bit of review. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and just call this function to make sure it works. Let's pass in 212, and we're gonna have to wrap this in a log just because we are here. All right, let's go ahead and look in our browser. Let's refresh. All right, so we got 100 in the console, so we know that it is working. Yeah, cool. Yeah, live server works. I use just a regular open in browser. I really like people getting used to like using their tools and opening stuff manually, and just at least in the beginning, just because when you get into an interview scenario, a lot of times you're not on like your own device, you're not on your own machine, you're in some weird editor or something like that. So just as a way to be a little bit more comfortable, I don't really use the live stuff, but I think you're all at the point now where you do what you feels best. Do what you feel like you're comfortable with. If you feel like you know how to do it from the beginning, by all means, use whatever you feel comfortable with now. We've been doing this for a while. Cool. All right, so we got our first function working well. Our next function should be whether or not the Charmander can battle. So we'll call this function can char battle. Cool. And we just know it's going to be a conditional. And so we can just say if temp is greater than, I'm just going to say T. I don't like using the word temp for some other coding reasons, but let's say T. If T is greater, let's do temperature, is greater than 0, then we know that Charmander can battle. So we'll just say console log char can battle. All right. What are the other coding reasons? Yeah, I guess I should explain that. I'm always very careful of they're called reserved words. And so reserved words are words that are recognized by the programming language already and that you shouldn't use for like function names or variable names, etc. And so temp is like one of those words that in some languages might be a reserved word. And so I just like I start to type it and I feel like, ooh, I shouldn't, maybe I shouldn't do that. That's all. All right, so we have temperature greater than 0, can battle. Else we're just gonna say, I'm just gonna do it the opposite and just say like, I'm gonna say char can't battle. Cool. So now we have our two separate functions, but we want temperature converter and char can battle to talk to each other. And so what we could do is we could call the function inside of here. So let's go ahead and let's pass in a value. It's going to say temp val. Cool. And what we could do is we could say let temperature equal, right? Let it equal temp convert, and I'm making these words a little bit tricky just so that we can actually see them. Temp val here. And let's actually see what this does when we call it. So let's go ahead and call this can char battle, and we're going to pass in 213 because we know that that should be greater than 0. All right. So let's go ahead and save this. And then let's go ahead and go back to our console. Let's refresh. And we can see char can battle. We know 213 will be greater than 0 when it gets converted to Celsius. So this is working. Let's go ahead and throw in 211, which should be less than 0. Make sure that we says we can't battle. Ooh. Was 211 less than it? Let's see. Let's do 200 just to make sure. Uh-oh, we got a little error here. What's the error? Anybody spot the error? Izzy just says you. The error is you. So let's see. 212 is 100 degrees Celsius. 100 degrees Celsius would definitely be above 0. So I was just using a wrong number. Let's go ahead and do, we know 32 would be the lowest. Let's do 31. Can't battle. Cool. My math's off tonight. That was embarrassing. Right. So yeah, it was just the math. Laugh out loud. It was you. That wasn't like sometimes like normally like I like to like lead people. That was just me like blanking. The nuns are crying. All right. So it looks like everything's working here. Let's step through this together. All right. Down here, I have my function call. Not gonna lie, just got here. My bad. Welcome, Liquid Words. Always happy to have you. Rezo with the hydration. I missed this stat right at the break. Rezo, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Nox, yeah, thank you for the 4 months. I don't know if I saw that either. Appreciate y'all being here. Woo! Thank you for the hydration. We heard that. You heard what? I don't know what you heard. What you hear? What'd you hear? I'm just messing with you. Let's see if I could goat somebody into it. The sub alert. Cool. Yeah. I changed the setting was the setting was the like I think it was monitoring the capture card sound and not the desktop sound. But I think for all of these, like for everything, I have to restart streaming. So next class I think should be back up. Like I said, there's always like these, like I said, it's gonna get funky, right? There's always get some. I've been trying a lot of weird stuff, and so there's some of these things you just can't test until you're actually live, and so there's just so many little things that are all like making this production run that it's just gonna get a little funky. We need a funky emote. I think it'd be a good one. All right. Can char battle is calling our function. We are passing in the argument of 31. The argument of 31 falls into the parameter of temp val, right? Of temp val. So wherever I see temp val, it is 31. Here I see temp val, so it's as though I threw 31 in there, but temp convert is another function call. I have chained my function calls. So it's as though I'm passing 31 into the parameter of f. So where I see f, it's actually 31. And this does some math. That math gets returned to where the function was called. Right? And it's as though I put that number there. So temperature is that value. Temperature in this case is not greater than 0. So we get the else printed to the console. So it's a little weird, right? You have a function call. You pass the value. That value is getting used here. This is another function call. That value gets passed in again as f. So we're seeing 31 there as well. Whatever this results as gets returned back to where this function was called. And this value is something that's less than 0. And so since it's not greater than 0, the else runs and we see char can't battle printed to the console. Does it matter if temp convert or char battle, like the order in which they are declared? No, because there's something called hoisting in JavaScript. And it's something that makes JavaScript really weird if you're coming from some other languages that don't have it. And so what's happening here is that all of our functions are like a rubber ducky. Imagine we had all of our functions are rubber duckies. All those rubber duckies are floating to the top of the water. All of our functions float to the top of what is called scope. So all of our functions are sitting at the same level. Doesn't matter if they were declared further down or anywhere on the page, they all rise to the top. The cream rises to the top. And so we call this hoisting. Now, there are some types of functions that do not hoist. Function expressions do not hoist. But a function declaration, like when you see the keyword and the name, those all rise to the top, just like the cream. Dev, technically, yes. We're going to get more into like callbacks, higher order functions. That's all next week when we get into kind of like our async await. We're going to get into all the nitty gritty details of all that stuff. But yeah, we'll talk about callbacks, higher order functions, promises, all that fun stuff. That's kind of like the last bastion of what we need to know about JavaScript for everything to be like a complete picture. But yes. Yeah, Enigma, keep asking questions. We're here to help, here to answer them. All right, last one, folks. Magic, yeah, I want you to finish it. So if you haven't finished it, I want you to get through it all. Loops. All right, you have joined an underground Pokemon League. In this league, trainers can use any number of Pokemon. Print to the console, Pikachu, I choose you, X times, where X is the number of Pokemon the trainer you are battling has in their party. All right. So all we're doing is we're creating a function that takes in a number. That number prints something X times. Whenever you see something that's repeating multiple times, right? Something that's repeating multiple times, right? Whenever something's repeating multiple times, what are we using, chat? What are we going to use for this? For this solution, what are we going to use, chat? Yeah. A loop. A loop, loop, loop. Cool. Let's take a look at a loop then. Alrighty. So let's create a function. Is underground one word? I'm going to say under Pokemon League. Cool. And we know this is going to take in a number. Great. And that number is going to be the number of Pokemon. So num of Pokemon. Cool. And it's going to set up our for loop. Just a standard for loop. We're going to let our counter. So we'll just say let I. I is just a shorthand for increment. Let I equal 0. And while I is less than number of Pokemon, I plus plus. So each time this runs, it's going to add 1 to I. And we're going to go from 0 to the number of Pokemon. And let's just go ahead and console log. And we're just going to console log Pikachu. I choose you. Cool. Let's go ahead and call this underground Pokemon League. And we're going to pass in, let's just pass in, let's say the trainer had 10 Pokemon. First try, thanks to Code Wars. Heck yeah, let's go. This is definitely very similar to some Code Wars. All right, there we go. Trainer had 10 Pokemon. You can see that the console is letting us know that Pikachu, I chose you, has run 10 times. Good stuff. Now, you could have started counting at 1, right? So instead of 0, you could have started counting at 1. If you started counting at 1, what would you have to change about your end condition, chat? If you started at 1, what do you change about your end condition? Yeah. You're going to do a less than or equals to so that it's included in that value. Dope. All right. Good stuff, folks. Like I said, this is a gentle review. The next one's going to be harder. The next set of questions are going to be harder. So let's go ahead and continue on. We're going to cover arrays very quickly, and then you're going to jump in. I'm going to give you a good amount of time to work through the next few. Cool. All right, chat. What are arrays? Chat, what's an array? What's an array? I think this is our most requested emote. Arrays are toasters. I gotta get a toaster array emote. Will, I need you. A toaster array emote. All right. Yeah, an array is a toaster. And when we say a toaster, we just mean one entity that can hold multiple values. Will, you're on it. Thank you. You can hold multiple values. So you think about a toaster. Toaster has multiple slots. Multiple slots can hold toaster strudel, can hold pieces of bread. If you're fancy, you can maybe hold a Pop-Tart, right? So it's one thing that can hold a bunch of other things. And our arrays in JavaScript are exactly the same as our regular toasters. They are an ordered collection. They can hold multiple different types of data. Any type of data that you've seen so far in JavaScript, it can hold. Whether that's another array, a string, a boolean, an object, everything can go to arrays. Where arrays get tricky is that you start counting them at 0 because they are 0 indexed. And then there are a lot of methods that make working with arrays, in my opinion, a pleasure. But when you're first starting out, it can be living hell. So we are going to kind of review some of those methods tonight through the practice problems. And arrays can be created through a constructor or literal notation. Literal notation is just the brackets. I see you, thieves. All right, here's our literal notation. This is literally setting up an array using those square brackets. You can declare an array, but also give it elements at the same time. So here I've declared new array, but also given it an elements at the same time. Notice that we can have a string, a boolean, a number. All things are available inside your arrays. Arrays are 0 index. So if you want the first element, you use the 0th index. Cool. And not only can you get stuff out of an array using the index. So here I'm able to use the indexes to grab the elements out. right? I can use it to get stuff out, but I can also use it to put stuff in. So in this case, I'm saying, hey, find this array at the first index, put this value into that spot. Now, if there is already a value in that location, you are reassigning that slot on that toaster. Cool. The interesting thing is that arrays have a length property. Why do arrays have a length property, chat? That's a little weird. Why do they have these property things? Tina, they're objects. Exactly. They're objects. Yeah, they're objects. Cool. Array iteration. We can iterate through an array. We could use a for loop to move through it, but we also get these handy dandy methods that are built into arrays. Here's the lovely for each. For each runs once for each element in the array, and it pops off our value, and it pops off the index. So in this case, we would have green falling into X and 0 falling into I. And so this could print green, then blue, then yellow, then black. Cool. Still got to master that for each ES6 stuff. Yes. I think our first push class, our first review class will be a pretty much heavily array stuff. Yeah. All right. We got some we got some tough challenges here, folks. These are going to be some toughies. So let's go ahead and open them up. I'm going to close my Boulder Badge, and I'm going to open up my Cascade Badge. These are code wars. There's some code wars here that are, I think, 8 Qs that I grabbed here. So these are some 8 Qs code wars. You're going to want to use some methods here. Let's talk through them first, and then I'll pull the timer up. So your Pokemon party order, which is a list of Pokemon, has been leaked to Misty. Misty is the leader of the Cascade Gym, if you're not in the loop. All right. So your party order has been leaked to Misty. Your party order being leaked is a bad thing. So what we want to do is we want to create a function that reverses your list and prints it to the console. So whatever names of your Pokemon, whatever order they're in, it's going to reverse that order. Cool. Given the next question, given 2 integer arrays, so 2 arrays that have numbers in them, both that are greater than the length of 1, so both of the arrays have more than one value. Create a program that returns true if the sum of the squares of each element in A, so that means each number that's in the first array, if each of the sum of those squares is greater than the sum of all the cubes in the second array. What's the? I was waiting for it. I always forget what this one is. Not like this. I was waiting for not like this to be spammed in chat. Basically, you have 2 arrays. Both arrays have numbers, and you want to square all the numbers in one, and you want to cube all the others in another one. Cube is just to the 3rd power. Right? That's all you're doing. So you want to see if the sum of all the cubes is greater than all the sums of the squares. So that's that one. The next one is return a new array consisting of elements which are multiples of their own index. That you gotta know some terminology there. And then the last one is given an array of integers as strings and numbers. So it can be an array of numbers, but sometimes they're strings and not the actual number value. Return the sum of all the array values as if they were all numbers. So you're gonna have to turn some strings into numbers here. Now this is all about, I'm going to give you just a few minutes here. Get as far as you can go. This is more about review and analysis than it is trying to slam dunk these questions. We're going to spend more time on the review analysis. That is what's important here. But I want you to give each of these kind of like a fair shake. We get 1 hour, right? What do we feel like is a reasonable amount of time here? What do you feel like is a reasonable amount of time here? These are all EQs. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put the 5-minute break. We're going to do our 5-minute break right now because we're at the top of the hour. If you so choose to look at the questions and let them marinate while you take your break, so be it. And when we come back, we're going to have 15 minutes to work through these together. So let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break. I'm not going to share anything important. Take your 5-minute break. Please get up, move a little. Move a little. Hydrate if you're able to. I'll put 5 minutes on the timer. Cool. Let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break, folks. You deserve it. Top of the hour. We always like to be healthy. Remember, we're in this for the long haul. We're in this for the long haul. Can we use methods? Absolutely. All right, 5-minute timer. Take your break. Get up, stretch, hydrate. Let these questions marinate. Let these questions marinate, and we'll come back to working on these questions together. All right. Harris Heller, take me home. All right, I'm going to get the music coming through my Mac here because we couldn't get the Streamlabs going. Oh, yeah. Whew. Mm-hmm. We got 4 minutes, folks. The screen switch is also stuttering. That's interesting. Do you ever do Clash of Code? We haven't done that yet. It's been something people have asked for, so we might do something like that soon. But yeah, kind of 4 minutes, folks. Take your break. Remember, we're in this for the long haul. And this for the rest of our careers. Take the break. If you're able to get up, please do so. Hydrate. Do what you're able. Got a lot of new folks that followed. Braverill, Mason, Sanglier, Dango. A lot of folks. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Just watch the post-credit scene of Chamber of Secrets. I'd like to say first try, but I made an easy goof. Hey, those first tries are earned. Those are earned. Next one. Thank you for posting the links, Alyssa. I misspelled Cascade. I don't doubt it. Thank you for the catch. All right, folks. About halfway there. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. This feels like my lunch breaks at work. Break. Dunzo, get out of here. Better be Dunzo with your break. You got through all those, that'd be wild. Can you explain the third cascade question again? Yeah, we didn't really take a look at it. Let me pull it up. All you're doing is filtering, basically. You're going to filter out the elements, which are multiples of their own index. So you can see that -6, it's the first index, so that's, of course, a multiple. 32 is a multiple of 2. So 2 does go into 32, so that's a multiple. And then 3, 4, 5, 25 is a multiple of 5, so that works. I love these review classes. They make you realize I know more than I give myself credit for. Heck yeah. Suma with the Pokemon card redemption. We got to do that. Oh boy. While you all are working on the questions, I'll pull up the Pokemon redemption. Law with the dud. I only have 43 8Qs left. Heck yeah. What's the rarest we're going to offer? So right now we got some that are like $60+. I have some others in my collection that I'm going to put up too that I think will make it like fun. But yeah, so the highest will probably be like $100 in current value. Word. Thank you, Will. Yeah, Suma, make sure you send me your address on Discord so I can get the card your way. All right. 10 seconds left, folks. Then we're going to come back from break. Alrighty, folks. Come on back. Come on back. Good break. Good break. Music ended on time. Look at us go. All right. Welcome back, folks. Hope you had a good break. Alrighty. So, we have some questions to get through. We got some questions to get through. I'm going to put 10 minutes on the clock here. I'm going to put 10 minutes on the clock here. There are 4 questions here. These are pretty much 8 Qs. If you finish these a little bit early, go ahead and sneak in a 7Q Code Wars. So if you finish them quickly, go ahead and sneak yourself in a 7Q and then join us back at the 10-minute mark. Mom just gave you your childhood card binder. My cousins raided mine a long time ago, or else I'd have some really wild ones. I have some really good ones that I've like took with me, but I know some of the base sets just gone. All right, we're gonna put 10 minutes on here. Go ahead and give yourself a solid 10 minutes to work through these questions. I know some of these, like, yeah, so you might have already done these during break. These are 8 Qs. So if you grinded all the 8 Qs, this is your repetition. This is your repetition. You should be able to bang these out, no problem then, if you already did them. Have you seen the Code Wars social rankings? Yes. So if you're working through these, work through them. You got 10 minutes. If you already powered through these, great. Get the repetition in. Do them again. Even if you've already seen it before, feel like you already know how to solve it, do it again. I'm telling you that repetition is key here. If you already did them again, try cracking open a 7Q. Yeah. I did 58 Qs in one day. Hey, there we go. Daddy Yankee. My babysitter stole my OG Charizard, and for clarification, I currently do not have a babysitter. Nox, yet. So I have seen the Code Wars social rankings. On Friday, we'll announce all the moving and fun stuff like that. So Friday class, we're always going to talk about the rank ups and stuff like that. Now, some folks have been not too honest on those rankings, so it's not gonna be an automatic thing. I'm gonna review your code. If you're in the top 5 and you're vying for that spot, you're in the one spot. I'm looking at your code. It's not gonna be an instant thing. You ain't gonna get me like that. Can you explain the last question in the Cascade badge? Absolutely. All right. Given an array of integers as strings and numbers, return the sum of the array values as if they were all numbers. So in this case, imagine that you had an array, right, that had some mixed values here. I should have given you a test case for this. So let's go ahead and say that you have an array, and that array is, let's say, 2, 5, 11, and 4, right? You have some numbers here that are strings, like string number 2 and string number 11. We want to make sure that you're treating them all as numbers, right? Because if you were to just start adding these would just concatenate. They would just concatenate. They would just add. It would be 25,114. So you got to make sure you convert these to numbers before you add them to your sum. So this should be equal to, say, 7 plus 11 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. All right, folks, got 6 minutes and some change left. 6 minutes and some change left. Keep working. You got this. You should pick a viewer to solve it live on Streaming Coderpad. Hey, told you, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes here. A lot of stuff that's getting funky. That's gonna be one of the things we'll be doing. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't use regex for any of these. These are just straight methods. Straight methods. All right, folks. 5 minutes, 40 seconds. You got this. Dig deep. Like I said, if you already finished it, go ahead and try a level 7. What do you mean by which are a multiple of their own index? So let's say the number is 12 and the index is 2. So 2 can go into 12. So 2 is a multiple of 12. So if you look at the question here again, you can see here the index is 0, 1. 1 can go into 6, so it's a multiple. Here the index is 2. 2 can go into 32, so it's a multiple. 3 can't go into 82, and 4 can't go into 9. So neither of those are multiples. And then 5 is the index here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What the heck? All right. There's just sounds coming from everywhere. 5 can go into 25, so it's a multiple, and that counts. Indifferent goes with the 5 gifted subs. What's going on? Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. A total of 185 gifted subs in channel. It's so wild. How was your break? Hope you're doing well. Grant. Indifferent. Hey, thank you for the support. How was your break? We're back. Hey, let's go. I've made an interesting turn. I'm going to move into freelance. Woo! Let's go. Congrats. That's a huge step. It's a huge step. If I can help at all, let me know. Alrighty, folks. We got 2 minutes, 55 seconds left. Music's a little weird tonight. We're playing it through the speakers into the microphone because we don't want to stop stream. But we'll get it figured out before next class. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. feel you indifferent for sure. Play acid rap. I do not want to get demonetized, and I need all the VODs because they all go on YouTube for folks that we have a large group of folks that just watch on YouTube that can't join us live. So unfortunately, I would love to play music, like real music. Well, this is real music, but you know, like copyrightable music. All right, folks, you got a minute 45 left. We're gonna come back. Hold on, let me grab it real quick. Hold on, let me grab it. Ooh, 1 second. Can I reach it? Yeah, there we go. It's going on my wall. This is the acid rap vinyl that Chance dropped on their actual site. So I got like this like nice frame for it. And so that's going on the it's going on the wall, and I got one more here too. Yeah, got the other one too. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff that's going up on the walls. I'm really excited. Shells. Is that your favorite album? Yeah, Acid Rap's my favorite. Yeah, I'm excited. I have like my whiteboard where I practice my whiteboarding, and I have like a nice like slither of wall where I'm putting some like my favorite albums in vinyl up the wall. All right, folks, 15 seconds to come back. We're going to go over these together. 15 seconds. We're going to go over these together. These are some tough ones. If you haven't been grinding out your 8 Qs on Code Wars, if you have been, you've seen some of these. All right, folks, come on back. Let's take a look at these together. And then we're just got a little bit more review, and we're going to end it a little early this evening. So we got a little bit more review, and then we're going to end it, okay? All right. Like I said, tonight was just kind of getting us back into the vibe, getting us feeling good again. And then Thursday, we're going to get into the thick of it with object-oriented programming. And then next week is all about OOP practice and async await and all the last little accoutrements that we need about JavaScript before we move to the back end. Bill Gates in the house. Thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Thank you for the hydration. Alrighty, let's take a look at these together. All right, your Pokemon party order which is a list of Pokemon has been leaked to Misty. Please create a function that reverses your list and prints it to the console. Chat, what did you use to reverse your list? What did y'all use to reverse your list? Cool. So we're taking in an array. And we can probably just do return array.reverse. Remember, reverse is an array method. Some folks kind of think of reverse as a string method because they're so used to doing split beforehand, but it's an array method. So you can just do array reverse. Let's test this and make sure that it works. Let's go ahead and call reverse party, and let's pass in an array. Let's call it Bulba Pika and butter for Butterfree. All right, let's save this. Let's go ahead and open this in the browser. Let's make sure, we're in the right browser. Alrighty, open this in the browser. Let's go ahead and inspect. Go to our console. And did I save it? I didn't like that it was called wrong. How did I spell it wrong? Cassidy? What was I thinking? What? Cass D. All right. Okay. Whatever. Okay. All right. There we go. We got the badge showing up. All right. Let's take a look at our code. Reverse party. We're just returning it here, right? Since we're just returning it, we won't actually see it. We won't see it, right? Because it's just getting returned. It's being spit out. It's being spit out into the ether. We won't see it. So yes, we need to console log it. We're going to do our console log. Cool. And now that we console logged it, whatever got returned, we should be able to see in the browser. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and cool. See you on Thursday. Let's go ahead and refresh. There we go. So we got butter, pica, and bulba. So it took the array, it reversed it, and we printed it to the console. Well, we returned it, and then we printed it to the console. Boom. Given two integer arrays, A and B, both of a length greater than 1, create a program that returns true if the sum of the squares is greater than the sum of the cubes. So I'm going to have two arrays. And each of those arrays are going to have numbers inside of them. The first array, I'm just going to square all the numbers and add them together. The second array, I'm going to cube all the numbers and add it together. And so if the squared sum is greater than the cube sum, that's what I'm looking for. And so what I want to figure out here is a couple interesting things. How could I sum all of the squares? And how could I sum all the cubes? Is there any method that comes to mind that you're like, we're going to do some summation. We're going to add some sums here. Yeah, I like the reduce. So for me, I went with the reduce, and I'm gonna do something in one line and then kind of talk about it. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're gonna head and create a function. And in that function, we're just gonna say that it's gonna be comparing arrays. Compare array. Mashi. You can hear Mashi. All right, so we're going to compare arrays, and we're going to pass in an array for B, an array for A, and an array for B, right? So A and B are just going to be holding arrays. Cool. What I want to do is I want to return if the A sum is greater than the B sum. I think they're training, and that's why we're hearing the barking. She gets a little excited when we start doing like all the commands. Cool. That's what we're looking for. But we're not just going to sum all the things in A. We're not going to just sum all the things in B. We want to make sure that the sum of all of the squares and the sum of all of the cubes, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how can we sum all the squares, and I'm going to use reduce. And whenever I set up reduce, I set it up the same way. I have an accumulator and a current value, right? I'm going to use ACC here just because we already have a variable of A. So my accumulator and my current value, and I'm using my lovely like arrow function here. She clearly wants to be on stream. I think she does. So I'm going to use my arrow function here. And all I'm going to say is I'm going to add to my accumulator, right? I'm going to add to my accumulator the square of the current value. What's the shorthand way to square a number? What's the shorthand way to square a number? We can use math.pal. That is correct. We could use math.pal. But we've seen a couple times on stream a shorthand. Yeah. There we go. Double asterisk, right? So we're going to do current value, double asterisk 2. So all that's going to do is it's going to square the current value, right? So if this was the number 2, it'd be 2 to the second power. So it'd be 2 times 2, which is 4, right? So it's just a way of squaring it. Now, one thing that you should always kind of typically get in the habit of doing is always throwing in that 0. This 0 just kind of lets you set the type as a number, and it kind of gets you around a lot of the weird edge cases when it comes to using reduce. So that 0 is not really doing any work here. It's just kind of setting up the expectation and the edge cases that come up when you use reduce. So this first reduce will take in the array, and it's going to reduce every number inside of that array to its square, and then add each of those squares to an accumulator. So this whole value will wind up being one number, right? That whole thing will be reduced to one number. So it's going to be reduced to one sum, right? Then we're going to look at B, and we're going to do the exact same thing, but instead of it being a square, it's going to be a cube. All right, so let's go ahead and do B.reduce. And we're going to do the same thing again. Accumulator, current, just setting up those parameters to use with inside the function. Our arrow function syntax is being set up. It's going to be our accumulator plus our current value. But in this case, the current value is not going to be a square. It's going to be a cube. I mean, I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller to see it on one line. And then once again, we're going to cover our butt and do the 0 at the end, just to handle those kind of edge cases that come up. Now, let's see if I can make this a little smidge bigger. There we go. I want it on one line just so we can see it, and then I'll make it bigger, I promise. All right. So what this is going to do, and there are many ways to solve this. There are many ways to solve this, right? Many ways to solve this. This is just one way. I'm using a lot of cheeky things here because I just want to show them to you, right? I want you to see them. These are things that are going to come up during your kind of coding challenges. So let's walk through this real quick. We pass in an array into the variable a, and we take that array and we're going to reduce it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take each value that's in that array, square it, and add it to an accumulation. This whole thing will be evaluated to one number. Let's say it was the number 22, right? Then the same thing is going to happen on this side. We're going to have a new array. That array is going to take each value out of the array, cube it, and add it to an accumulation. So this whole thing is going to be reduced to a number. Let's say that number was 5. So we had 22 on this side and 5 on this side. Since 22 is greater than 5, this would return true, right? So it's just a way of using this reduce in kind of a cheeky manner to reduce both of them, get their sums, and then compare the sums. Now, you could have done this on many multiple lines. Like I say, there's so many ways that you go about solving this one. This is just one of the ways I solved it. Let's go ahead and run it, though. Let's go ahead and do our compare. And we're going to pass in two arrays. Let's pass in 2, 2, 2. And let's go ahead and pass in 3, 3, 3. Well, let's use the same numbers. Let's use the same array. Cool. So these will be 2 to the second, and these will be 2 to the third, right? 2 to the second and 2 to the third. Let's go ahead and console log this so we can see the result. And we'll come back and kind of step through it together. All right, let's go and refresh. And we get a false. That makes sense, all right? This makes sense, right? This makes sense because we know that 2 squared is definitely not going to be greater than 2 cubed. So there's no way that we're getting true out of this. It's just we already know that these are going to be all 2s, and these are all going to be 2s, except these ones are being squared, and these ones are being cubed. There's no way that we would ever get the left hand being greater than the right hand, right? So let's talk about what happens. This first reduce is going to grab the first array. This first reduce is going to run 3 times. There's 3 values in that array. It's going to run 3 times. The first time it runs, 2 is the current value. So we do 2 to the second, right? Right, we do 2 to the second, which is 4. And so we have 4 going into our accumulator. So our accumulator right now is 4. Then reduce runs again. Current value becomes the next 2. 2 to the 2 is again 4. This 4 gets added to the accumulation, and our accumulation is at 8. All right? Then reduce runs for the last time on the last 2. 2 goes into the current value. We have 2 to the second, which gives us 4. And that 4 gets added to the accumulation. So 8 plus 4 is 12. So this whole reduce evaluates to 12. And that's it. That whole left-hand side is done. 12. So remember that this is 12. If we look at the right-hand side here, we're going to do the exact same thing again. Reduce is going to run 3 times, 1 for each of the 2's. It's going to run once for each of the 2's. So the 2 is going to become the current value, and we're going to do 2 to the third. 2 times 2 times 2, all right? So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So we're going to have 8 going into the accumulator. So right now the accumulator is 8. We're going to run again. 2 goes into the current value. Once again, we cube it. That's 8 going into the accumulator. Accumulator is at 16. It's at 16. Then reduce runs for the last time. That last 2 goes into the current value. Goes into the current value. We know that this is going to be 8. 8's added to the accumulator. And we wind up with 24. All right. So we know that the left-hand side evaluated to 12. And the right-hand side evaluated to 24. 12 is not greater than 24. So we get false. And that's why we see false printed to the console. Now, this is tricky if you've never really used reduce. This is tricky if you've never used the exponent syntax. But this is something that you're going to run into a lot on Code Wars. And so it's one of those things that you want to have in your back pocket. Understanding that reduce is just doing some value to a current value and adding that result to an accumulation is something you're going to use over and over again. So this is definitely something you want to practice, something that's going to pop up quite often. Cool. Yeah. All right, let's look at another one here. Let's look at another one here. All right. One second here. Cool. All right. Next one. I thought the war in Code Wars was a figure of speech. This stuff really trying to kill me. All right, let's take a look at this. Return a new array consisting of elements which are multiple of their own index in an input array. So return a new array consisting of elements which are multiples of their own index. Return a new array. Return a new array. All right, so whenever I see return a new array, there's kind of like two methods that go off as an alarm bell. Right? It's either map or a filter. Right? It's either a map or a filter. I'm going to use filter for this one. And the only reason I'm doing it is because I just want an array that's consisting, meaning that I'm getting rid of some stuff. Means I'm getting rid of some stuff, right? Consisting of elements which are multiples of their own index. Multiples of their own index, right? So their index, like if we had if we look through this value here, let me make this bigger. The index here is for 22 is 0. 0 can't go into 22 because maths. The index here is 1. 1 can go into 6, so that is a multiple. Then we're at 2. The index is 2, 0, 1, 2. 2 can go into 32, so that's a multiple. We're at 3. 3 cannot go into 82, so that's not a multiple. 4 cannot go into 9, so that's not a multiple. And then 5 can go into 25, so that is a multiple. So when you looked at the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if the index could actually go into the number, right, that's how we knew it was a multiple. So for me, I used a filter here. You could have mapped it. You could have pushed it. You could have done a bunch of stuff here. I'm going to show you filter. Okay. I'm just going to show you filter. But like I said, there could be so many ways that you could have solved this. Let's take a look at filter. All right. So we're going to create a function here. And we're going to call this is multiple. Cool. And we're going to take in an array. And we're just going to return that array, but only with the values where the index is a multiple. So we're just going to do a return. Yeah, we're just going to do a return. And we're going to use that array, and we said we're going to use filter. Now, the cool thing about filter, right? The cool thing about filter the cool thing about filter is that we can pass in some sort of test, and as long as it passes the test, it'll be included in the array. Okay, so I am just going to do a pretty simple test. I am just going to see if it's divisible by, right? See if it's divisible by. And how can I check to see if something is divisible by something else? What have we seen over and over again to check to see if something is divisible? Yeah, we've seen modulus, right? We've seen modulus to do this. So the cool thing about filter is just like for each, right? You're going to pop off values every single time it runs. So I'm going to set up some parameters to capture the element. And I'm going to capture a parameter to capture the index. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, is the element divisible by the index? If that equals 0, right? If that equals 0, like the element is divisible by the index, if that equals 0, then this should be included in the array that gets returned. And that's the beautiful thing about filter, right? That's the beautiful thing about filter. Filter will just automatically include that in the array, and anything that doesn't pass this kind of like test case just won't be included. So let's run through the examples now that we've set up our filter. So the very first time that this runs, right? The very first time that this runs, we're going to pop off 22 and 0. So E will be 22 and I will be 0. You can't really divide by 0, so this doesn't count. The filter check fails. Next, we're going to have -6 and 1. Since 1 can go into -6, we know that our filter is going to at least have -6 in it, like the array. Right? Then the next number is 32, and the index is 0, 1, 2. So 32 and 2. 2 can go in the 32. That passes the filter check. And we have 32 that's definitely going to be included in this array. The next time it runs, we have 82 and 3. 3 cannot evenly go into 82, so it doesn't pass the filter check. And we keep moving on. Next, we have 9 and 4. 4 cannot go into 9 evenly, so it fails the filter check, and we move on. And then last but not least, we have 25 and 5. Since 5 can go into 25 evenly, it passes the filter check, and we have 25. This whole array is what's going to be returned from this function. Cool. Will you give us the names of these code words? Happy, I can do that for sure. Yeah. So once again, this is using filter. Many other ways to do it. Right now, focusing on the methods is probably the best thing to do. Later on, when we get further into program, when we get deep into our data structures and algorithms, we'll come back to a lot of these questions and solve them without the methods. If you're already getting that practice in now, kudos, but it's definitely something that we'll grind out later in program as well. So there is no name for what's being returned. This, whatever is the response of this, is what's being returned. And so filter is just going to spit out an array, and that whole array is going to be returned. That's it. Whole array is going to be returned. Cool. Look at this last one. I know these are tough. If you haven't spent time in the muck of Code Wars, these are tough. All right. Like I said, I'm doing ways that you might not have chosen to solve them just to show you some examples. You're going to come back to these and really spend time on the analysis. Why did this work? Why didn't this work? Cool. All right. Last one here. Given an array of integers as strings and numbers, return the sum of the array values as if all were numbers. Now, you might have noticed I've given you some of these questions here that are worded kind of funny. Like, they're not worded funny. You just got to know your vocabulary, or it's hard to solve these problems, right? It's hard to solve these problems if you're not used to the vocabulary. And so that's one of the reasons why I push you so much to do reading. I find that a lot of my students struggle if they always rely on just video. So a lot of the homework tonight, throughout the next week, is reading, because you got to get more comfortable reading these words in context and trying to digest what's being asked of you, right? On the job, you're not going to have video. On the job, you're going to have some dingy README file that hasn't been updated in 5 years, that was written in an archaic language you've never heard of, and you're going to have to make sense of it. So you got to get used to practicing it now. And that's one of the benefits of grinding out these kind of 8 Qs on Code Wars, is it just gets you used to the verbiage. Even if you solve it in a wild way, even if you solve it in something that's nowhere even close to what we're doing right now, the idea of like getting used to like reading these problems, figuring out what's even being asked of you is like the first big hurdle, right? Like figuring out just what the heck's being asked in the question's the biggest hurdle. And then actually taking some time to solve it, that's something as well, right? And remember, 20 minutes, no more. On your practice problems, you only have 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, you stop, you look at the answers, you spend more time on analysis than you did on solving. Cool? Getting those brain muscles going. Exactly. It's about when you get to an interview, you're not Pikachu face like, what the heck are they asking me? I don't understand the problem. You need to work through that now. And I know it's tough to work through these problems because it's so weird. It's a whole brand new language. But I guarantee if you start putting in the effort now to read and digest and spend time on the analysis, it'll pay off as you move through. Is Leak Code or Code Wars better for interviews? Leet code is better for interviews. Code Wars is better for understanding a language. So I always start people off with Code Wars. Once we get to our data structures algorithm point of program, we'll move into Leet code. Cool. Given an array of integers as strings and numbers, return the sum of all the array values. As soon as you know that we're summing, we have an array that we're summing, what comes to your mind again? We have an array that we're summing. What comes to your mind? We have an array that we're summing. What comes to mind? Reduce. Nice. Map. Seeing some map. Seeing some reduce. I like reduce. If I'm summing, it's probably a reduce, right? There are a lot of really tricky ways to solve this one. The big thing we need to do is we need to handle, all right, if it's a string, right? If it's a string, how do I turn it from a string to a number? And once I feel comfortable that I'm dealing only with numbers, right? Once I feel comfortable dealing only with numbers, I can add that to my reduce accumulation, all right? So I'm going to make sure I'm dealing with just numbers. And if I'm dealing with just numbers, then I can add them to my accumulation. So there's a lot of like little verbiage here that we got to think through. And there are many ways that you can solve this. And I'm going to show you one way that's going to use some fancy syntax, but there are many different ways to go about this. So I'm going to use reduce and I'm going to do my number conversion. So let's go ahead and try something first that won't work. Because I solved this like probably honestly 4 different ways before I settled on what I really liked. So let's definitely know we're going to use reduce, and let's see the oddity here. So let's see the oddity. So let's go ahead and just try doing a reduce here. So function could be num sum, because it could be a number and we're trying to sum them all, right? And we know that we're going to pass in an array. And let's go ahead and return the array. And let's just try the reduce. Like I said, it's not going to work. So let's try the reduce. And we can see the error of why just a standard reduce wouldn't work here. Cool. All right. Here's our standard reduce. Let's try it and see what we get when we call the function. So let's go ahead and do our could be num. And let's pass in this array that we have up here. We're expecting 22. We're expecting 22. Let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and console log this. Whoop. What the heck? Cool. All right, let's go ahead and console log this. And let's save and let's run it. So here we got 25,114. Jen, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Thank you so much. What happened here, chat? What happened? 25,114. Should have been 22. We got this big old number. Cross. Concatenation. There are so many cats out here. Concatenation. Yeah, concatenate it. Concat it. Right? What wound up happening is, let's figure out the numbers that popped off here. So our current value started off as string number 2, and that got added to the accumulation. As soon as string number 2 got added to the accumulation became what data type? As soon as this got added to the accumulation, my data type became what? Became a string. Became a string. Exactly. It became a string. So what could we do? What's the first step that we might take that would help us now that we know, oh, it's a string. So if we add a string to an accumulation, it turns it into a string. All right, Magic, let's try it. Yeah, let's try number. So number or parseInt, any of these things that take the numerical value out of the string can be helpful here. So let's go ahead and save this. Let's go back. Let's refresh. It's working. It worked. Now, here's something that's really funky. Let me show you something funky. Let's do this. Let's get funky with it. Let's get rid of that 0 there. Remember I said that 0 saves you a lot of headache. Let's go back. If I get rid of that 0, the concatenation comes back. So if I get rid of that, remember I said that 0 is going to save you a lot of headache. It's going to save you a lot of headache down the line. If I get rid of that 0, the concatenation comes back. That needs to be emotes. Concatenate. It comes back. Why in the world? We're changing it from a string to a number. Why is it a string? Well, here it is. The accumulation becomes a string before the conversion happens here. Right? It's a string before the conversion happens here. And so if we set the initial value with the 0, what we're basically saying is set it as a number, right? Set it as a number and not a string. So that 0 saved our butt here. What you could have done is we could have also made sure that that was a number as well. But the 0 here is what helps. And then there's some other trick here too I want to show you. So the number saved us, right? If we put the 0 back, we get the 22 that we expect. Let me show you one other thing. Like I said, we're just having some fun here amongst friends. What? What? Huh? So what is that? Hold on. You're a wizard, Harry. What is? Huh? Okay, my brain just errored 404. What did that just do? Oh, Imran's been going through some code wars, I can tell. Urinary operator. It's going to there you go, exactly, Cross. It's coercing the value into a number, just the plus sign. In JavaScript, this is a thing. In some other languages too. Yeah, it does the conversion for us. And then maybe we could also do something. Well, now that we know that, now we know the plus sign does it. Now, even if we get rid of the 0, but put a plus sign before the accumulator, then the accumulator, if it does get turned into a string, gets back to a number. And then we're always adding a number with the plus sign here. So this is where JavaScript gets funky, right? This is where JavaScript gets funky. What? Hold on. So you're telling me that all of a sudden white space matters? This whole time, like we've all JavaScript just never matters anywhere. And then here it does. So this is where I'm out. This is where JavaScript gets a little funky. And this is where, when you're spending time on your analysis, when you're doing Code Wars, and the first answer doesn't make sense, it's entirely 100% okay to go and look at the other answers. Because unless you know the quirks of JavaScript, you're going to run into some weird stuff like this that doesn't make sense right out the gate. A different ghost. Thank you for the encouragement. Cheese, please. Enjoy the sub. Get back in. So this was like a long setup. This was a long setup to show you that, like, as you're doing Code Wars, there's always going to be something really funky. You're going to wind up seeing stuff that looks like this. Like where, hold on, you're going to see something like this. Right? Like you're gonna see that as a solution. And this is being generous. You're gonna see this. It's totally okay to look at a Code Wars solution and not understand what the fuck's going on right there. Like, these are the clever answers. No, this works. This will work. I throw that into the console log. We'll see it work, right? This could be an actual solution that you would see on Code Wars. Now, is it a worthwhile exercise to understand what's happening here? Absolutely. Absolutely a worthwhile exercise to be like, all right, well, what are these arrow functions? What is this? What urine operator? What is it? Urinary operator? Like, it's okay to look these things up, but I can't tell you the number of times I feel very confident in my solution. I submit it and somebody's done it in 3 characters. And then I look at my 30 lines of code and then I look at their 3 characters. Then I look at my 30 lines and I look at their 3 characters and I feel bad. But I'm here to tell you that you shouldn't feel bad. This is a progression. This is getting to the point where you're understanding some of the oddities of a language. But your first solution, your first job as you're working through your Code Wars, right? Your first job as you're working through your Code Wars is to get the answer. Anything else is extra, right? Get the answer. Now, like I said, you take 20 minutes. Once you're past 20 minutes, you spend time on the analysis. The reason why I like Code Wars to start out is that you'll see all these different solutions. The first one's always going to be some nonsense like this, some unreadable drivel, right? That somebody thinks they're smart and likes to throw that up there, right? That's always going to be the number one answer. I don't know why. Reading through the comments will tell you a little bit about what's going on with that solution. And you should strive to make your code work. You should also strive to make your code readable. You should also strive to make sure that the things you are doing make sense to you. And as you progress, you can get closer to these kind of solutions. Okay. And so I just want to make sure that you don't feel bad if you're doing your code wars and your solutions don't look like this. You'll get there with time, spend more time on analysis than you do with your actual solving. And as you progress, things will make more and more sense. Okay. Now, okay, I hear you calling me out, Jen. All right. I'm going to share these. I want everyone to take a look through these, try and digest what's going on. On our first review class, we're going to be reviewing all the array methods and spending 3 hours together just reviewing, just like we did here, but in more detail, going through all these little quirks and oddities. So we're going to have a full review class that's just going to be on this stuff. Okay. But overall, you should be putting time into your code wars. You owe me 7 before next Tuesday. 7. If you haven't finished all the fundamentals, you haven't finished all your AQs, you should stay there. All right, you should stay there. OBS, exclamation point 100 devs. Don't worry, we're pretty deep into kind of some hard stuff tonight, but everything will be there that you can use to catch up. And then join us on Discord. Cool. Out here doing 7 a day. Hey, don't let me stop you. The grind is real when it comes to code wars. Push yourself as much as you can. As you have the time, you should be sinking it into code wars at this stage. Get it more comfortable with the syntax. Get more comfortable with how things kind of are working. And when you see something weird, take the time to figure out like what it's actually doing. Cool. All right. I want to leave you with the homework. And then we are going to do a raid. So we're going to review some of the homework, and then we're going to do a raid. So don't leave yet. Let's get through the homework together, and then let's end with a raid. So the last one that we had to do is that there is some object review here that we're not going to get to because we're already at the top of our 3 hours. It's just review. What I want you to do is in the Rainbow Badge is our Pokemon API code. Okay. In Rainbow Badge is the Pokemon API code that we've already done. Okay. What I want you to do between now and next class, right? Between now and next class, what I want you to do is I want you to build an app that uses that API. We did one that like compared types. That was just one very simple thing you could have done. You could have maybe pulled, like, you type in Bulbasaur and it gives you the evolution of Bulbasaur. I want you to build some sort of functioning app that uses the Pokemon API. Everything's already there for you. The API is already set up. It's already working. It's already getting data back. It's going to be on you to play with the object that's coming back. Figure out something that's working, right? Figure out something that's working, right? And then build. So use the Pokemon API, get some data coming back. Once you have some data that's coming back, right? Once you have some data that's coming back, build an actual app, like something that has real functionality, like something that will predict the evolution, something that will compare types, right? You got to push yourself to build something that's real, okay? And so if you have no idea what Pokemon is, you can look at all the data you're getting back and think through it, okay? So that's part of the homework. That'll be due Thursday. So I want everyone to do that before Thursday. Get some data back from the API, figure out how it works, figure out how to use it to build something basic, right? And then here's your homework that's due on Tuesday. There's a video to watch. There are 2 chapters to read. They are some dense chapters. There are some dense chapters. Okay? So this isn't due this Thursday. This is due on Tuesday. If you can get it done before Thursday, great. Okay? Eloquent is dense. It is hard to get through. There's a lot of stuff that'll be review though, because you've seen some of this stuff before. Remember, you need to get comfortable digesting the text. A lot of folks are not comfortable consuming text as their primary resource. This week is an exercise in getting more comfortable, right? Getting more comfortable spending time with text and documentation. And that's why I've gone heavy with the reading. The JS way is definitely more readable. Eloquent is heavy. Okay? This shouldn't be the first time you're seeing any of this content though. So this should be review, right? And so you should be kind of on your second or third time seeing this, so it should make it a little bit more comfortable. That's the homework. All right. Let's end with a raid, and then I will see all of you wonderful people on Thursday. Thursday, we're getting back into the swing of things. We're getting into a full class with OOP. So we're going to spending all of our time talking about objects and object-oriented programming. Next week is practice with object-oriented programming, and then async await and all that fun goodies. Okay, let's end with a raid. Ooh, I know who we're going to do. All right, let's go and do this. So stay with us. Remember, you get your channel points. You want the channel points. As always, please send love, follows. Takes nothing to give them a follow. Send some love in their chat. We're going over to, let's go ahead and start the raid. We're going over to Freckled Science. They've raided us before. I see they have a 3D printer going, and since I'm really into my 3D printer right now, that's who we're going to raid. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you over there. I'll be hanging out along with you. Let's go ahead and raid now.